A while ago, I briefly mentioned that I wanted to start making videos on how to improve in Destiny 2 PvP, how to play to improve, and how to develop yourself as a player. And I think there's a lot of people asking me for this. People ask me for tips all the time on stream, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to do this yet. So essentially, this is the introduction to a new video series of mine that is going to be called Crucible Mastery. And the goal of this series here is to talk about different things, maybe FPS basics all the way to Destiny specifics, whether it be mechanics and interactions, the whole cone meme thing, applying the breakdowns I've kind of went over in the past and utilizing that in practical scenarios in the game, all the way to things I haven't been able to talk about, like game sense and prediction and radar manipulation and improving your aim. So I'm excited to kind of merge those things and focus on them one at a time in essentially different video sessions, I'm gonna call this. A little bit about me as a player, I guess, because I really haven't talked about this per se. I am confident in my skills in Destiny. I'd say I'm good and not great. I'm flattered by some of the people on stream that mention me being, a great player and one of the best in the game. Again, I'm flattered, but just a level set reality here. I'm not one of the best in the game. I don't believe I'm as good as some of the players out there. I might be good, I'm confident in my abilities, but I'm not some of the absolute best players out there. There are some incredible players out there, and I'm sure it's easy to name drop them. I know I am in the top 1%, you could say, but even so, I'd say I'm at the very bottom of that. The point in me saying this is that I'm not a perfect player. I make a lot of mistakes. I have a lot of bad habits, and I'm playing to improve just as much as you're playing to improve. So really, the most important goal of this series for me is that we're improving together. This is, again, these kind of sessions where we're going to focus on a topic. I have some topics that I want to cover. I'm going to take suggestions from you guys that we talk about a subject, and we essentially focus on that for the session and continue that dialogue in the comments, where this becomes a discussion about improving and how to improve each other's game. And you guys can critique me, and I can give whatever I can offer, and hopefully we'll really see how we develop together, and this will be an ongoing thing, and that excites me. Now, for those of you that might not know, I am a controller player. So what I have to offer might be based on controller. That's what I have to offer. That's what I know. I have a background in playing competitive Halo. No, I am not some pro or whatnot. I've been to a few events. I have some maybe decent placings, but I am not any sort of a professional. But I am an enthusiast of esports on controller. I love Halo. I love Call of Duty. I love Destiny. Whether you want to classify that as that or not, I don't know. But my point is I'm a controller player, and my experience comes from the games that I listed. So that's what I have to offer you guys. Now, will there be things that hopefully relate to MNK players? Surely. We're going to be talking about Destiny specifics and different things that we can do that are specific to Destiny in the game and in these sessions. However, there might be some things that, again, are a bit more controller specific. Hopefully for you MNK players that might be watching and going along for the ride with us, you can still take something away for yourselves. But again, my apologies. Some things will be very controller focused. So today's video focus is going to be about improving your aim on controller. Obviously, like I said, I'm a controller player, so this is really what I have to offer. And I want to start from the basics, how to improve your aim on controller. A lot of people ask me about this. I'm going to make this clear that I know this is probably going to come across as some sort of cheese to some people, abusing aim assist. These to me are almost common knowledge in other games that I've seen played on controller, and they're just accepted as how you aim on controller. But again, just getting that out of the way, we'll talk about what I mean by this. So there's a few things to keep in mind when playing controller. Number one is something called centering. What is centering? Centering, and we have our friend Kamicakes here to help us demonstrate this.
What up?
Centering is basically placing our crosshair through the map where we think someone's going to be, even when we're going around something. So let's say I'm going around this box here. My crosshairs are already placed on this diamond because I'm anticipating someone to be on the diamond. So I'm already kind of centered on that. If he was
here, let me pull the snipe out. Keep it cannon.
So I'm coming across here. Oh, look at that. My crosshair is already ready, even though I'm not across there yet. for where I'm anticipating someone to be. If I was anticipating him to be on the other side in blue, I might already have my crosshairs here, and boom, look, ready to shoot on the door. The other facet of aiming on controller is going to be left stick movement. A lot of players might want to be aiming with the right stick and flicking everywhere. Left stick movement is really, really important. This is what's going to let you make your really fine adjustments. We have the last word here, which is more of a tracking weapon. Faster rate of fire weapons are more tracking weapons than, slower rate of fire flicks. And typically they require more, fine movement, especially since it's a hip fire weapon. We want to be using our left stick for our really fine adjustments. Like if, just adjusting across is there. And then our right stick is for flicks. So our right stick would be for big sort of movements. Flicking onto target. Left stick for fine movements. The last thing is countering flinch. And ensuring you get, I guess I'll call this good hit registration. And that's by making sure that we always have input on both the left and right stick. The right stick, the motion we want to use to aim a lot of the time is, so we want to center, ADS, flick to our target, center, aim, flick, and then use our left stick from there for fine movement, and then the right stick to hold down to compensate for the recoil. And then if we let our crosshairs kind of just rip here without any recoil control, we're gonna get flinched really hard. We want to always be slightly pulling down, always, even on a 180 hand cannon, even on last word that seems like it has no recoil, constantly like a slight, ever so slight pull down, always input on your right stick. So a big thing about controller aim, and this is, again, might get some flack, is going to be you do not get reticle friction unless you are putting input on your left stick. So Cam, if you want to strafe back and forth, go for it. No reticle friction. Aim assist or reticle friction is a part of aiming on controller. It is a fact. It's been a thing. It's been a thing since Halo. It's a thing in COD. It's a thing in every single controller FPS. So just, we're accepting that. Now, I'm not getting reticle friction, right? Now, if I put the slightest bit of movement on my left stick, I get reticle friction. The tiniest bit, look, on, off, on, off, on, off. The right stick is a little bit as well. You'll start getting some as well here, but it's not quite as strong because we're moving our crosshairs. It's just kind of catching it every so often. So this is the importance of left stick aiming again, is that we not only can use more fine movements, but we're also going to get our reticle friction on this. So we can use our strafe to follow our target, right? And then we can use our right stick to also put input and compensate for the recoil, because what recoil and flinch is trying to make us do on controller is to knock us off of target. So when we put, not only are we going to keep our friction, our aim assist cone on the target, we're going to also make sure that it doesn't get knocked off by flinch or by recoil. And that's how you basically shoot. Again, even with last word, we're strafing left and right, constant, again, pulling down on the stick. Even though, right now it's hard to see, but I am dragging down the tiniest little bit on my right stick.
I'm going to add that there's a sweet spot distance where you will not get that friction, so it's going to require more pull down than usual. And that's kind of an innate thing.
Yep. So to go over our kind of sequence of events here, we can even do this with a sniper. We want to center, flick to target, then left stick. Find center around where we think they're going to be. Flick to target, then it becomes left stick. After that initial flick, it becomes left stick. And then your right stick is no longer really flicking too hard if you're using a higher rate of fire weapon, that is. It's just slightly dragging down. Ever so slightly dragging down. To keep your crosshairs on the target, to resist flinch, and to resist recoil. The art that I think you want to really master with this is sliding and then immediately taking your crosshairs to where you think they're going to be. So in this case, again, we're sliding, we're centered. We're turning in a way that the center of our screen's already on the target, so we just have to ADS and then flick. If we're sniping, it's the same thing, right? Just like
even
that.
more so with these 50 zooms, you're sort of aiming where your slide's going to end.
Yep. So slide, flick, slide, center, flick, slide, center, flick, slide, center, flick. Again, same with primary, slide, center, flick. And then it becomes just dragging down with the right stick and then left stick aim after that. Really just want to drill that in. That is how you aim on controller. Again, so let's go try and use that in a more practical scenario and practical sense. Keeping that all in mind, we'll hop into a Rumble game and use our last word here. I think some really great weapons to focus on your centering with. You can do this with any weapon, of course, but the last word and Dead Man's Tail being hipfire weapons really help you do that, because centering is something you want to do from the hip. It's not something that you want to like constantly ADS. You don't want your radar to go away. You want to be doing it from the hip, so then you ADS and then flick to your target, right? And remember, while doing all of this, you are never letting go of input on your left stick. Your left stick is what gives you your reticle friction. You're always going to have input on your left stick. All right, so we're going to be hopping into a game of Rumble here. We might not always be doing Rumble for these videos. Sometimes we might do Control, sometimes we might do Rumble, sometimes maybe Comp, and sometimes I might just want to review a gameplay that I thought was good to review for the topic. It really depends. We're going to Rumble because I think this is a little less chaotic than something like Sixes, like Control, and we can more intentionally focus on our crosshair placement, the whole centering, flicking, and then movement adjustment. It really allows us to focus solely on that. Even if we're not winning, we want to really just be focusing on that in this particular scenario. We're actually loading in progress here. I'm really bad at talking and playing, by the way, so I'm going to try my best here, and I got to improve at it. But we constantly want to be making our predictions based on the radar and knowing common spots on the map of where we want to place our crosshairs. So I got left stick movement here and input. Constantly looking at where they might be. Someone's down here. Slide, center. Slide, centering to the door. Still centering to the door. Still centering to the door. And then flicking a little bit. Someone else is down here. We know where he is, so we know where to center already, and then flick. Centering to this open area. We know there's a spawn down here. I think someone's down here trying to center for this. We don't know where he is now. We're kind of losing knowledge. It's going to be to our right. We know he's sniping. Going to peek it a little bit. Going to try and poke. Now we got the info. And then we can just flick. We got the info. Right there, we knew. We kind of had the centering. We had the information of where he was. And then all we had to do was flick towards where we thought it was going to be. Okay, this is a common spawn here. So we're centered with this. No flick. We're going to kind of peek it again. Kind of hard to get a shot behind that car there. There we go. There's a spawn here. That's a common spot. Mid's a common spot. He's actually spawning back here again. That's out of our range. We're going to try and stay alive here. Let's see. Try and center where we think he's going. We heard the jump, so we knew he was going up. Easy centering. Just kind of went into our crosshairs. This is a common spot up here, but we're getting pinched. We hear him to the left. All right, this is an AFK, but we had good centering nonetheless. Someone's behind us. We know he's going to come through this door. Surely enough, there he is. No, he's spawning right here. We were able to slide and then center. Someone's behind us. We have the info. Didn't quite get the headshot, but we still got him. We're going to center here. Yep. Center, then flick. Center, then flick. I think we know where he is. Let's give him some shoulders. There we go. We drew him out, and then we had good centering. Another thing when sniping, see how there's no crosshair in the middle of your screen? We kind of got to learn where the middle of our screen is based on where our weapon model is. Middle of this one's screen is above the barrel. The other thing that we have a little bit of a cheat. We can sprint to bring that dot up. So we're going to use this dot to center our crosshairs. We know he's over here. someone coming over here. We want to sprint, and even when we're sprinting, we're putting our crosshairs where they might be. Again, using the sprint for, especially for the sniper, position our crosshairs effectively. See, we can put it over here. Put it over here. And when we slide, we kind of want to just kind of try and remember where that center of our screen is. We almost had him there. Someone's behind us. We know where he is already. We got the body. Now just movement adjustment. Alright, so we're gonna slide out and then center to the right. We know where he is. Constantly and always putting left stick input. Sorry, I'm really bad at speaking and playing. Constantly always putting left stick input to make sure that we can flick. If you want to hold an angle and you don't want your crosshairs kind of messing with you a lot, you can crouch, because that's going to allow you to put left stick input in and still hold the angle. Ooh, bit of a doozy of a super. I think he's going to get us anyways though, right? Oh, we got him. So yeah, that was a pretty clean game. We joined in progress. It's not about the competition here. It's not really about the opponents we're facing. Remember, we're just trying to keep in our mind, we're trying to think of always the topic of what we're discussing. And in this case, it was good centering, which leads to center first, flick, and then movement adjustment. All the while, through all of that, keeping in mind your left stick input. It doesn't matter if you're jumping, it doesn't matter if you're in the air, it doesn't matter if you're sliding. Always, always, always left stick input all the time. And remember, let's keep in mind that sequence that I'm going to keep drilling in. If you want to, again, once you get proficient with this and you can, start having good movement, slide, center, ADS, flick, and then movement adjustment. And after the movement adjustment, you start slightly holding down on your right stick to compensate for flinch and recoil. So that's pretty much everything I have to say for you guys on how to aim on controller and the fundamentals of aiming on controller. I hope you guys found this enjoyable, and I hope you guys, if you guys want to see more topics, let me know in the comments and anything I can improve on, and just an overall dialogue. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about my gameplay? How do you feel about my aim, or what can I do to improve based on my criteria there? Let's have a discussion about that and keep the dialogue going. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.